To your horoscope for November 2023. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm going to go through what the planets are getting up to here in November, how that influences you. And the point of these horoscopes is to look at the positives and how you can make use of those and how to avoid some of the potential pitfalls or negatives. The first thing in November that's going to be kind of noticeable is that Saturn goes direct, and it's in your 8th house of institutions and groups of people and communities and any kind of group that involves a lot of other people or some sort of set ideology or some sort of system of belief, and you're able to connect with that greater group. And Saturn, when it goes direct, it shows you that there is the potential to build something solid out in the actual world. So if you have a need to kind of belong to something, if you want to feel like you're part of the, I don't know, car club or some sort of meditation community, or you want a spiritual community, Saturn in your 8th, one, makes it possible for you to find your tribe as such, but then second of all, to find a real sense of belonging and comfort and this is my group. That's an interesting point, because I've experienced that a few times in my life, but not really to the extent that these are my people and we have everything in common. I think that's I think for some people that's very easy, but for other people it's really difficult to try and find common ground. Like for some people, and I'm not one of these people, so I may misspeak here, so excuse me if I am. But for some people, in my experience that I've seen, they go to the tennis club and they get on with everybody and meet their best friend, and that's their identity. For some people, they go to the bridge club and the Christian Science church and whatever, and it's never really a good fit. But as human beings, and I think we can agree or feel just free to disagree, we all have a sense of I need to belong somewhere, right? So if you have that desire to belong, you have a lot of Scorpio energy in your 4th house. I think the best way to express this is to really focus on your closest intimate relationships with your family, friends, people you've known for a long time. If you do have the need to join some sort of a group, great. Make sure they're a positive group and you're not joining some sort of cult. I mean, that's the only thing I would warn you about. Because, listen, if I have a huge need to belong, right? And I'm totally lost in my life and I have no one and I'm just totally alone, then I'm vulnerable to kind of get suckered into groups which ultimately are there to exploit that desire. I mean, I think they're built on those things, that they understand that everyone needs to belong to some extent. Anyway, the potential for you to create your own business, to build your own institution is there. There is the potential to join a good institution that makes you feel whole and connected. And there's the potential to really get intimate and connect with people who are close to you. Just make sure you pick and choose which one is right, and then you don't just gallop into something because you feel isolated. So make sure you do your homework before joining any group. 8th of November, we have Venus going into Libra. That's in your 3rd house of communication. So if you're a Leo who's a performer or an artist or a creative type or a writer, Venus in Libra really helps you express yourself beautifully. On the 10th of November, we have Mercury, the communication planet. That goes into Sagittarius, and it goes into your 5th house of what you love. So away from all the close connections I already have with people and groups, and now I want to explore on my own to find what I love. So it's interesting because you're kind of like negating what you've done in the first 10 days of the month by saying, this is where I belong, and now I need to belong somewhere else. I need to find something new. So you're a little mercurial, I would say. I think the point I'm trying to make here is if my relationships are everything and I want to see where I belong for the first 10 days, and then once I recognize that I do belong here and these people love me, and then for me to say, okay, thanks for that, I'm now off to my next adventure, it may be a bit jarring to the people who have just, reassured you that you're loved. So it's a kind of dichotomy between what already exists and what I want to exist in future. I think ultimately the key is here in November, you're going to want to be validated in terms of I am lovable, I am connected. So if you're someone who needs that kind of validation all the time anyway, you'll feel this really strongly. But if you're someone who's totally independent and you don't even like compliments or flattery or whatever it may be, then you'll notice that you suddenly need to connect and to feel a sense of support somewhere. So again, if you want to make changes to your relationships, because you're changing, you can change the relationships as well. It's really up to you. So that theme continues for the majority of the month. Where am I with my relationships and where I want to be in life? On the 23rd of November, the sun goes into Sagittarius, also in your fifth. And now it's really, I know what I've got. I want to go explore what I haven't got. I want to be in adventure mode, okay? So from the 23rd onward, doing anything that makes you feel like you are on an adventure, going on a trip, whether it's with other people or by yourself, or learning something new or doing something fun, that's going to be really, really fulfilling. On the 24th of November, we have Mars, the planet of masculinity, also going into Sag in your fifth house of what you love. So it's all fire now. You've got Mars, the sun, transiting midheaven, and Mercury in Sagittarius. So it's all about, what can I do with my life? How can I bring more of the things I love into it? How can I progress in a way that's makes sense, and that makes me feel like I love myself and I'm taking care of me and I'm using all of my potential. So it's home, and then leaving the home and going out into the world. So you could kind of argue that maybe it's all the love and support you got from other people that fuels you to the extent where you have this courage then to go out into the world and to do all of these great things. So be considerate of the people who support you and have helped you get to where you are. On the 27th of November, we have the full moon in Gemini, and that's really nice for you because the full moon in itself is a moment of completion, right? In Gemini, it's very optimistic. It's about looking ahead and finding new doorways to step through, new adventures, new possibilities. And it's in your 11th house of hopes and dreams and other people and relationships and hopes and dreams as they relate to other people. So if you go on an adventure to find what else is out there, whether it's a new love or a new job or something to devote yourself to, by the 27th, you're going to be really satisfied with the outcome that you get because it's very likely that you find the loving thing that you're looking for. Looks amazing. Also on the 27th, we have Venus in Libra opposing Chiron in Aries. So if you have issues expressing yourself, if you're like, oh, I want to write this book, but what are my kids going to think? I remember in the 90s, there was a book by a woman who I think was a French, she ran an art gallery in Paris. And she wrote this book about all of her exploits, her intimate exploits and stuff. And I think it was published anonymously. Later on, they found who this person was. But when I was reading it as a teenager, I was like, oh my God, this person is really sharing all of these things. If that is so risky, in the sense of what are my friends going to think or my family going to think. But some people feel the need to express their journey and what they've gone through, regardless of what other people think and regardless of what the response is. And I've always had a lot of respect for that in the sense of, wow, you're really brave. But for some people, they don't even consider the fallout. So it's a very interesting gray area. But the reason I'm bringing all this up is if you have a message that you want to express, right? I want to write my memoir. I'm just worried that my granny is going to be upset about some of the things in the memoir. Then this month is really this opportunity to say, do you know what, to hell with it. I'm not going to censor myself. This is my artistic vision and purpose, and I need to express it. So there's a sense of major freedom and liberation. And again, the irony is at the beginning of the month, it was all about relationships. So at the beginning of the month, I would say you would be very, very ready to censor yourself. At the end of the month, it's the opposite. So maybe you have an experience, with all these institutions and relationships that make you kind of twig on and say, do you know what, this person is actually just making me zip it all the time, and I don't want to zip it anymore. I want to be me and express myself. All the personal planets are direct, which is a good sign. Venus, love, Mars, desire, Mercury, communication. So you can delve into whatever area and really not have anything working against you. And then 3 of the outer planets are retrograde, Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune. So the dream and the sense of I'm willing to try something new, all of that is there. And I think November is going to be very rewarding if you allow yourself to go in those new directions. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I get for you here in November. I hope it gives you an idea of what you'll be working with. If you would like a personal reading, please get in touch with me via my website, gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. Check out some of my other videos on the eclipses, new moons, full moons, daily tarot readings. Have a look around, see if anything catches your eye. I hope this has given you an idea, and I will speak to you soon. All the best.